Namaste, and welcome to our continuing series on Savitri with our beloved Ranga. We are on page 17, beginning with the line, "A signer of the ordeal and the path." A signer of the ordeal and the path, who chooses in this holocaust of the soul death, fall, and sorrow as the spirit's goads. The dubious Godhead, with his torch of pain, lit up the chasm of the unfinished world, and called her to fill with her vast self the abyss. August and pitiless in his calm outlook, heightening the Eternal's dreadful strategy, he measured the difficulty with the might, and dug more deep the gulf that all must cross. Assailing her divinest elements, he made her heart kin to the striving human heart, and forced her strength to its appointed road. For this she had accepted mortal breath. To wrestle with the shadow she had come, and must confront the riddle of man's birth and life's brief struggle in dumb matter's night. Whether to bear with ignorance and death, or hew the ways of immortality, to win or lose the godlike game for man, was her soul's issue thrown with destiny's dice. But not to submit and suffer was she born. To lead, to deliver was her glorious part.
This is the canto where the issue, the subject of the poem and what Savitri has to achieve and what she has come down for in the world, physical world, what she has to do, what is her work. That's what is being discussed here. In the Srimad has taken the episode from the Mahabharata of Savitri, and there it's a tale of conjugal love. But Srimad has turned it into a spiritual symbol of the conquest of death. Because here also Savitri in Mahabharata, because of her purity and her devotion to her husband, she is capable of even fighting with death and reclaiming Satyavan as her husband, and comes back upon earth. And they get 1,000 children. The 1,000 children is it's a symbolic thing that there is success. So that's what is meant. The children in the Vedas, symbolic of the results of your own, what you have done what your own deeds. The children are the results of your karma. What you have done, they are the children. It reminds you of Wordsworth. The child is father of the man. Yes. So, there's something like that. So this is the theme that we are going to discuss. And now death also is there. She has confronted death, and there is love also born in her. Cupid has shot his shaft, and she is now in love. She is divine, but she is descended into the physical world as a human being. So this is the description of her, as well as the first part, the Yama, the death. So, a signer of the ordeal and the path, who chooses in this holocaust of the soul death, fall and sorrow as the spirit's goads. The dubious Godhead with his torch of pain lit up the chasm of the unfinished world and called her to fill with her vast self the abyss. So So this is the full sentence for so many lines. So, assigner of the ordeal and the path. So, who is it? Death. And it is death who chooses in this holocaust of the soul. The soul has descended from its heights of divinity down into the inconscient of matter. So, this is the human soul, and that's the holocaust because it's a huge destruction. You have lost your consciousness, you have lost your ananda, you have lost everything that you had, you have come down here. It's a sacrificial holocaust. Okay. And it is death who who assigns the ordeal and the path. So, the path and the ordeal, it's an ordeal, the challenge of conquering death and conquering all your difficulties and rising again back into the divinity. That's the ordeal that you have to face. Death, who chooses, what does he choose? He chooses fall, he chooses sorrow as the spirit's goads. So we need not think that fall and sorrow are something negative. It is God's goads. It is encouraging you to conquer the fall and go up. It's a goad, like you encourage an elephant with a goad or even an animal, you push them.
Or the goat herd.
Yeah, that's
who is
right.
goading the goats in a particular way.
Or all cattle, where it be you take a pretty sharp instrument and sometimes, so that's a goad. So your sorrow and fall are the spirit's goads. Later on also he will explain to you how pain is the hammer of the gods, who is actually helping you to conquer the difficulty that you are facing. The dubious Godhead. So all these are referring to Yama. Assigner, death, the dubious Godhead. Why the dubious? Because he is a Godhead and yet he is the Lord of...
He's taking your life.
Yes. Okay. He is the one who establishes death as the principle in life. Okay. So dubious Godhead. With his torch of pain. It's a torch of pain. Lit up the chasm of the unfinished world. So which is the unfinished world? It's a world, as they say in economics, a work in progress. It is not yet finished completely. It is on the way. So what would be the finished world? Divinization of matter. So now it is unfinished. So this is the halfway you have come to the journey. That's what he means by unfinished world. And called her now. Without saying who it is, he's saying her. But there is nobody else except Savitri and death. So her is is Savitri. And called her to fill with her vast self the abyss. So the abyss has to be, the abyss is the inconscient, the physical world. And she has to completely change. And how can she change? By filling her vastness here. Transformation. It's a poetic way of saying transformation of the matter.
I wanted to ask you if I could just add one thing when you say that it is the story of the conquest of love over death. I would like to add, and the establishment of a life divine on earth.
Yes, that's the whole purpose. In fact, that's the issue.
That's the issue.
That's the issue.
Yes.
We come to that little later on, okay? So, and called her to fill with her vast self the abyss. Now, but there is a description of Yama, Godhead, the death, as a God, august and pitiless in his calm outlook. So he is a God. He has a calm outlook. There is no variation. Okay, calm outlook, pitiless. There is no pity. Heightening the Eternal's dreadful strategy. What is this? Heightening the Eternal's dreadful strategy. The strategy of the divine is to divinize the matter, but it is dreadful. It is starting from absolutely the death and going up to the divinity. So it's a dreadful strategy. He measured the difficulty with the might. So he is...
Savitri's.
Yeah, he is inviting Savitri, okay, her might. with his own laws, and dug more deep the gulf that all must cross. The gulf, when you go from life to death, there is a gulf that you have to cross. In fact, there is a river, even in Western,
Hades
the
River,
Styx.
yes. River Styx.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or in Indian mythology also, there is the river that you have to cross. Vaitarani. That's the word. So that's a gulf, and he's making it more difficult. He's giving a greater challenge to Savitri. He's dug more deep the gulf that all must cross. Assailing her divinest elements, he is challenging her. The divinest elements, he is attacking her and saying, I am going to produce the maximum difficulty for you. Okay, so the transformation of the world and the divinization of the world is not a small thing. It's a huge thing. So that Srimati is expressing in this language. He made her heart kin to the striving human heart. Her heart is divine, but he has brought her heart, divine heart, down to a human heart. That's what he's saying. So, with a human heart, do your work and conquer. Don't do it with your divine heart. That would be easy. But you have to do it with your human heart.
And kin here is allied to the human heart?
Yeah, he made her heart kin. That means he is connecting,
yes.
bringing her down
yes.
to the striving human heart. And force her strength to its appointed road. So, do the work that you have to do. Your appointed road is what? The conquest of death. You have to challenge me, and I am going to put all the difficulties in your path. I am going to dig the gulf even deeper, and I am challenging you, even your divine elements, I am challenging you. That seems to be the term. And force her strength to its appointed road. So this is a sentence. For this, she had accepted mortal breath. So she is the divine, and she has come down here into the physical world, become a mortal, and she has accepted the challenge of conquering death. To wrestle with the shadow she had come. The shadow is death. Okay. So to wrestle with him and fight with him and win. Okay. And must confront the riddle of man's birth. The riddle of this world is the dualities that you see. You are divine in essence, and you have still plunged yourself into the most undivine elements. That's the riddle. That's a constant problem. You have, Srimdo has a small poem where he describes a tree. It's a very small poem. He says, the tree is aspiring upwards. There's a divine element in, but its roots are stuck to the ground. Yeah. So that's the to wrestle with the shadow she had come, and must confront the riddle of man's birth. Why has man taken birth at all here? That's the riddle. And life's brief struggle in dumb matter's night. Now, life's brief struggle is the span of one life only. So, the life of a soul is infinite. But life on earth is only a brief struggle in dumb matter's night. Here, it's only 60, 70, 80, 100 years. It's brief compared to the infinity of the soul. So that's what he means by life's brief struggle in dumb matter's night. Now, the next few lines are he stating the issue. What does Savitri have to do? Whether to bear with ignorance and death, or hew the ways of immortality, to win or lose the godlike game for man, was a soul's issue thrown by destiny's dice. But not to submit and suffer was she born. To lead, to deliver was a glorious part. We stop here for the time being. So, this is what she is divine, and she has not come here to submit meekly to death. She is going to fight, and that's the issue.
The line whether to bear with ignorance is very Shakespearean.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Whether to bear with ignorance and death, should we accept calmly, quietly, and in a defeatist attitude, whether we should accept ignorance and death, or on the contrary, hew the ways of immortality, conquer death. Should we accept ignorance and death, or should we face and conquer it? That's the issue.
And the word hew
Yeah,
is very
hew.
interesting here. It often means to cut through
That's right.
something.
That's right. Hew can also mean cutting stone.
Mostly trees, usually they would say hew the trees.
Hew the ways of immortality. To win or lose, the godlike game for man. The godlike game, it's a game. But for
But he
man,
raises the question, to win or lose.
that's right. Again, whether to bear with ignorance or hew the ways of immortality. And that is why it is destiny is dice. It could be either way.
Yes.
That's why it is. The destiny is dice. So, was a soul's issue thrown with destiny's dice. He is using a very interesting image. It could go either way. That's the point. But not to submit and suffer was she born. She has come down with a specific purpose. There is, remember the word, appointed road, and force her strength to appointed road. Already her role in the physical world is appointed. She has to do this work. Okay. So, to lead, to deliver was her glorious part. Then the next line we didn't read, but here was no fabric of terrestrial make. She is essentially divine, but she has come down into the physical world, no doubt, but she is made of divine stuff, not of material stuff, not of terrestrial make. Here again there is an interesting image. Fabric, and she is made of this fabric which is not terrestrial, it is divine. We read the next passage.
Here was no fabric of terrestrial make, fit for a day's use by busy careless powers, an image fluttering on the screen of fate, half animated for a passing show, or a castaway on the ocean of desire, flung to the eddies in a ruthless sport, and tossed along the gulfs of circumstance, a creature born to bend beneath the yoke, a chattel and a plaything of time's lords, or one more pawn who comes destined to be pushed one slow move forward on a measureless board in the chess play of the earth soul with doom. Such is the human figure drawn by time. A conscious frame was here, a self-born force. Okay?
That last line again, Mother has selected for Savitri. A conscious frame was here, a self-born force. So that's the last line of the passage we have read. So,
and Sri Aurobindo uses self-born twice also in Savitri.
yeah,
That the divine chooses. He's self-born.
yes,
He's not born by accident or...
yeah, that's right. Self-born means that you don't depend on anything. Man is born in the physical world. He needs a body. Without a body, he cannot be born. So it is nature that he depends on nature too for his birth in life. But self-born means it is independent and a fundamental reality. It doesn't depend on anything else. It is self-born. It creates itself. We have the Sanskrit word for that, Swayambhu. It creates itself. So that is the self-born. And he also used the word self-consciousness, and he also used the word self-delight. It doesn't depend on anything. It's itself depends on itself alone. Okay, so here was no fabric of terrestrial make. Savitri is essentially divine. She must come down into the physical world because that's the work that she has to do. What has she to do? Hew the ways of immortality. Change death into eternal life. Here was no fabric of terrestrial make, fit for a day's use by busy, careless powers. So, this is so what is man's? Man is, his body, mind, life is a fabric of terrestrial make. Man's body, mind, life is terrestrial make, not divine make at all. It is terrestrial make.
And it's only fit for a day's use.
That's right. And the day is one life. That's what it means. Fit for a day by one's, fit for a day's use by busy, careless powers. Who are these busy, careless powers? In nature. So again, matter, life, mind. So these are the careless powers. They don't use the body and throw it away. That's it. Nature creates bodies and throws away. Creates bodies and throws away. But what is man? This is a description of man in many, many images. Man is nothing but an image fluttering on the screen of fate. Fluttering on the screen of fate. Okay? It's an image fluttering on the screen. It's not even a very steady image. Half animated for a passing show.
Oh.
You can see image, screen, passing show. Okay? All this again is the image. It's nothing but an image. Because that tallies perfectly with the Buddhistic philosophy. That your body, mind, life is nothing but an image, an illusion. It's nothing at all.
And only half alive, half animated.
That's right, half animated for a passing show. And that also, the show is there and then it goes away. So long as you live, you have a body. When the body goes, finished, it's gone. Or another image, or a castaway on the ocean of desire. Man is nothing but a castaway on the ocean of desire. It means that desire is doing what it wants with him. He has no power over the ocean. Desire can do what it wants with him. On Wednesday we read the synthesis, and he says that desire is the one that yokes man and whips him and rides on him. If you remember the words. This is what he's saying, and the next few lines also tally with that. Or a castaway. Man is just a castaway on the ocean of desire. But this is not what she is. All this is not what she is. A castaway on the ocean of desire. Flung to the eddies of a ruthless sport. So, the ruthless sport is life in the physical world. And the eddies. The word eddy is a small whirlpool. So, you are carried away by the ocean and the eddy is the whirlpool. You are not in control of that. The desire, the ocean of desire is controlling you, and you are just swept away. And tossed along the gulfs of circumstance. So, circumstances control man. Man doesn't control the circumstances. And what he's using different words here. He's saying tossed along the gulfs of circumstance. There in synthesis he says, you are yoked and ridden and whipped by desire. And here he's saying, you are thrown into the sea of desire and you are tossed about helplessly by the whirlpools and everything else. Okay,
so he uses ocean, eddies, gulfs.
That's right. Exactly.
3 lines.
Yeah. And again now, that's a full stop. So next sentence again. What is man? A creature born to bend beneath the yoke. Okay? He is yoked. What is he yoked by? Nature. Nature is controlling him. His body, mind, life is controlling him. He is not in control of nature. Okay? So, also note the interesting alliteration. Okay? The music. We have not been stressing too much on the music, but only the words and the meanings and the images. But a creature born to bend beneath the yoke. The Berber sound comes 3 times. We'll see that
I think we
alliteration
should, we
again
should,
and again we'll see.
And we should do the music as
we'll
much
look
as
at
possible.
The music is, poetic music is created by the sound effect. And what is he? A chattel. Chattel and plaything of time's lords. So man is nothing but what's a chattel? It is
A slave.
Movable property as opposed to land immovable property. Or also it means small possessions. That's the chattel. You're not something fixed. You're something very, very dispensable. That's what he's saying.
And in the next 3 lines, he tells us what that is.
That's right. Okay. So he's going on using images after images. So now he's saying that you are just something very disposable. And plaything of time's lords. Time is here only in the physical world. And who are the lords here in time? Again, matter, life, mind. So they are controlling you. Okay, so. One and another image. Or what is man? One more pawn who comes destined to be pushed. Who is pushing him? Again, nature is pushing him. He is not in control at all. And you are nothing but a pawn. You are not even the chess play. You are not a castle. You are not a king. You are not a knight. You are only a small pawn.
Yes.
So, in the one slow move forward on a measureless board. The measureless board is the universe. In the chess play of the earth soul with doom. So, such is the human figure drawn by time. This is what man is. Nothing at all. He is not in control. He is tossed about and desire is controlling him. The universe is controlling him. He is very disposable. He lives for a brief. One life is a brief period in the eternity of soul existence. That's what he's saying. This is man. But Savitri is not this. This is not Savitri. He has said that very clearly. Not to submit and suffer was she born. And then he explains what man is. But to lead, to deliver was a glorious part. Here was no fabric of terrestrial make. So she is not an ordinary person. He said that and then he describes what an ordinary person is. Okay? And such is a human figure drawn by time. Time is the level 1. Time is only here. Time is not there in level 2, level 3. So time, when it talks of time, it is here. And this is what the figure of human being is in time. Very, very disposable. Then the next line is just one line which Mother has selected for painting. A conscious frame was here, a self-born force. She is not a chattel, she is not a pawn, she is not flung a castaway on the ocean of desire, but she is conscious frame was here. Frame again refers to the body, mind, life. Okay, but she is conscious. Self-born force. She is consciousness and force. Chit Shakti. So this is description of man and what Savitri is.
In this enigma of the dusk of God, this slow and strange, uneasy compromise of limiting nature with a limitless soul, where all must move between an ordered chance and an uncaring, blind necessity, too high the fire spiritual dare not blaze. If once it met the intense, original flame, an answering touch might shatter all measures made, and earth sink down with the weight of the infinite. A jail is this immense material world. Across each road stands armed a stone-eyed law. At every gate the huge dim sentinels pace. A grey tribunal of the ignorance, an inquisition of the priests of night, in judgment sit on the adventurer soul, and the dual tables and the karmic norm restrain the titan in us and the god. Pain with its lash, joy with its silver bribe, guard the wheel's circling immobility. A bond is put on the high-climbing mind, a seal on the too large, wide-open heart. Death stays the journeying discoverer, life. Thus is the throne of the inconscient safe, while the tardy coilings of the eons pass, and the animal browses in the sacred fence, and the gold hawk can cross the skies no more.
He is again describing in the physical world. In this enigma of the dusk of God, so the physical world is the dusk of God. The dusk is not darkness entire, half light, half darkness. Dusk, like the evening or the early morning. Okay, the dusk of God. And there is an enigma. What is the enigma? A divine has come down into the opposite of what it seems to be divine. That's the enigma. He is telling you also what the enigma is later on. This slow and strange, uneasy compromise. And what is this compromise? Of limiting nature with a limitless soul. This is the enigma. The divine, who is all powerful, all conscious, all blissful, has come down into the opposite of himself. This is the enigma. It's a mystery. Why is it like that? Okay, so, of limiting nature with a limitless soul. The limitless soul is a Purusha and limiting nature is Prakriti. So this is the enigma. They are both together all the time. Okay. Where all must move between an ordered chance. Now you have, again Sri Aurobindo is using his favorite oxymorons.
Yeah, ordered chance.
Ordered chance. Okay, so what is meant by that? There is, in the physical world, if you see, there is an order. There is law. It's very, very clear. But there is also chance. Both are there. And what is the chance? Freedom. And there is law. Law and freedom are opposites. The law is there very clear. A human being will produce only a human being. A cat will produce only a cat. There is a law. There is a fixity. So that's the order. There is order and regularity. So there is law. But there is also chance, because all the cats are not same. There is a variation, the one and the many. So this is what he means by ordered chance. Both are there. There is freedom and there is also fixity and law. Both are there. And an uncaring, blind necessity. So there is an ordered chance and there is also an uncaring, blind necessity, which is absolute law. The absolute law, no freedom at all. In the physical world, everything is law. Everything is according to fixed schedules. There is no change. You can predict also what's going to happen. Everything is fixed. That's what I mean by uncaring, blind necessity. It doesn't bother. What has to happen will happen. Uncaring necessity. Too high, the fire spiritual dare not blaze, because it is the spiritual fire is being restricted from blazing here in the physical world. But if a touch comes from above, he is describing what happens. If once it met the intense original flame at the highest height, an answering touch might shatter all measures made. Okay? Now here again you can see the alliteration. An answering touch might shatter all measures made. The sound ma is repeated so many times. Might, measures made. So, although it's very difficult for the spiritual fire to blaze here in the physical world, but if once you get a touch of the original flame, you might get an answering touch. You might be able to and shatter all measures made. Measures made is again something fixed. A measure is something fixed. So whatever is fixed can be shattered. That's what it means by shatter. Might shatter all measures made. The laws can be broken. That's what it means. So,
But the intense original flame is so powerful that if we attempted to answer it, it could shatter.
yeah,
It could destroy us.
that's right. An answering touch might shatter all measures made, and earth sink down with the weight of the infinite. A jail is this immense material world. Now this is a interesting, the English language.
Yes, old English language.
G-A-O-L is pronounced jail and G-O-A-L is pronounced goal. The irregularities of the English language.
But Sri Aurobindo also uses Jail
Yes,
in
yes.
Savitri.
Yes, he does. So, this physical world is a jail. There is no freedom. That's what it means. Okay? And he has said that there is no freedom. The lack of freedom is expressed in so many ways. Uncaring blind necessity, okay? Measures made, and the weight of the infinite, all these, immense material world, all this shows that there is no freedom at all here. There is a fixity. Across each road stands armed a stone-eyed law. So this again is the stone-eyed law. Stone-eyed because it is showing no mercy, no compassion, no pity, nothing at all. It's absolutely looking with stone eyes, no change. So it's almost cruel. That's what it means. So, but it's a stands armed. So it's a person almost. This law is a person. At every gate, the huge dim sentinel space. Who are these huge dim sentinels? The inconscient, or you can also say death, and the lack of fixity of laws. They are the sentinels.
So here in the next lines we have law, sentinels, tribunal, inquisition, and
Yes,
judgment.
That's right.
Oh.
So he's using different images all the
Yes.
time. Now he's using the image, a Christian image.
Yes.
A great tribunal of the ignorance. This tribunal is a court, okay? And the inquisition is a tribunal appointed by the Pope in the 13th century. And what was the purpose? To inquire into, discover and suppress and punish heresy and unbelief. It was famous and notorious for torture. That's the Inquisition. This was therein. So if you don't believe what the church is telling you to believe, you will be tortured.
But it's a powerful line when he calls them the priests
right.
of night.
Yeah. A great tribunal of the ignorance, an inquisition of the priests of night. In judgment sit on the adventurous soul. The adventurous soul, one who dares to challenge the fixity of ideas and the laws that operate. The adventurous soul. In judgment sit on the adventurous soul. And the dual tables of the karmic norm. The dual tables are the rewards and punishments. That's why he uses the word tribunal and also the inquisition. Good deeds are rewarded and evil deeds are punished. This is the law. So, this is the karmic norm. Karma is a law that looks like that. Actually, it is not. It punishes evil deeds and rewards good deeds. So that's the dual tables. Okay? So, restrain the Titan in us and the God. So, both this tribunal, the great tribunal of the ignorance, is doing this work. It is controlling the adventurous soul and restrains the Titan in us and the God. Both. Keeps you in fixity. Okay? So, pain with its lash, joy with its silver bribe. This is the dual table. So, he is explaining what the dual tables are. Pain with its lash, joy with its silver bribe.
Again, a Christian image.
Yeah,
The
that's
silver
right.
bribe of to Judas.
So, if you are doing evil deeds, your karmic law will punish you with pain. And if you are doing good deeds, it will give you joy as a silver bribe. Do better. I am bribing you. Okay. Guard the wheels circling immobility. Now, again, circling immobility. Again, an oxymoron. Okay. So, and what is the thing? This inquisition and the great tribunal is guarding the wheels circling immobility. Which is the wheels circling immobility? The world is supposed to be a sansara. It's a cycle of love and of birth and death, and there is a continuity. In Life Divine also he speaks of the rhythm of life, and everything is rhythmic in life. It comes from the unmanifest, goes into manifestation, goes back into manifestation. Everything is revolving. You come into life and go back. This is the law, rhythmic law of the physical world. It is cyclical. Everything is cyclical. The sun is going round, the earth is going round the sun in cycles. The comets are also going round in fixed cycles. It's an elliptical movement. But everything is regular. The seasons come, day and night also comes. So everything is a wheel. And this wheel is a circling. It's a wheel that is circling. But there is no change. Immobility. There is no change, it's a repetition. That's what it meant. Okay, so a bond is put on the high climbing mind. A bond here means a restraint. A bond also can mean so many other things. It can also mean, in economics, a bond is something that you, it's a fixed deposit, you get a bond. Okay, so, but it's not that. A bond is put on the high climbing mind.
It's a restraint.
Yeah, it is restraint. A seal on the too large, wide open heart. These are the difficulties of the physical world. Not allowed to have a wide open heart. Restricted. Death stays the journeying discoverer life. So death is controlling life and not allowing life to become too much of a discoverer.
And stays here means holds back.
That's right, holds back. Okay? Stays the journeying discoverer life. And he has said also earlier, in judgment sits on the adventurous soul. So death is not allowing the life to be too much of an adventurer. That's what he's meaning. Okay, so death stays the journeying discoverer life. Thus is the throne of the inconscient safe, because there has to be a fixity. And if death is not there, death is not it is discouraging all effort to escape from this jail. That's what he's saying. So death stays the journeying, discover life. Thus is the throne of the inconscient safe. Inconscient cannot be changed very easily. The fixity of the inconscient is safe because the law of death is there. That's what he's saying. Thus is the throne of the inconscient safe, while the tardy coilings of the eons pass. Again, you see, he has talked of the wheel and the circling immobility, and now he's saying tardy coilings of the eons pass. And the animal browses in the sacred fence, and the gold hawk can cross the skies no more. The human soul is often compared to a bird. So the golden hawk is probably, he's referring to the human soul.
Namaste all.